Right everyone, welcome back. I have a collection video again, and this time is the Super Nintendo. This is a collection video I've wanted to do for quite a while, and sort of been putting it off because I was waiting for a couple of bits. Right, let's crack on. So, I'll show you this again. This box is my cousin's original SNES box, and it's lived up in my loft for, well, since probably the mid-90s when he handed the Super Nintendo down to me. It's not the original console in there. That's one. Before I carry on, I've got bastard mouthhole, so if I talk funny, then that's why. It's right at the back of my mouth. It's giving me a bit of a lisp. So really, possibly could have waited a few days to do this video, but all the boxes have come out of the protectors and stuff, and they just sat here. So I want to do it and get it done. So yeah, Super Nintendo was passed down to me from my cousin, and then that was soon passed down to my brother, my younger bro. So he's got that. So when I started collecting again, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago, the first thing I bought was a Super Nintendo. So that is currently living in the box because I've only got room for one console to be set up in this what's basically become a storeroom. So really pleased to have the original box still. I remember the Christmas that my cousin got the Super Nintendo. I was still playing Master System. Absolutely blown away by the Super Nintendo. We played that thing for hours, and it was such a leap from Spectrum and Master System, which we'd hammered that in the previous years. Super Nintendo, yeah, that's become a bit of a focus for me. That and Master System, because they are the two big nostalgic consoles that I played a lot before my teens. So yeah, certainly in recent times, yeah, I would say the Super Nintendo and the Master System have become primary focuses of mine. So I'm going to just start with some loose. So what I want to do is I want to buy everything back that I had as a kid, boxed and complete, and that's with one exception, and that is this one, because it's too bloody expensive. So yeah, Turtles in Time. We all know about Turtles in Time. Lost count of how many times I completed this as a kid, and for me, this still stands up as my personal, I think the best, but definitely my personal favourite side-scrolling beat 'em up. It even edges Streets of Rage for me. So I'll probably get a custom cart for this. It's in pretty nice shape, but I'm just not prepared to pay what it would take to get this boxed and complete. Incidentally, the box for that is one of the few boxes that survived the original collection, and as I say, Bruff's got that now, and he reckons that it's in. I haven't seen it for decades, but he reckons it's in pretty spanking condition still. So looking forward to getting my eyes on that, if not my hands. I'm not going to nick it back off him. So yeah, Turtles in Time. Right, next game is one that I want to get boxed and complete at some point. Killer Instinct. Used to hammer this. Used to love the just the draw for this game was the combos, stringing together big combos. I probably enjoyed this more than Street Fighter 2 back in the day, just because the stringing together the big combos and then the announcer going mad over the top was just that was a draw for me, and the characters were good as well. Possibly hasn't aged as, it's not remembered as fondly as Street Fighter 2, within reason. But definitely a nostalgic favourite. Definitely one I want to get boxed at some point. Next loose cart, Speak of the Devil, is Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Now, I didn't actually have the Turbo version as a kid. I had just the standard version, but for me, that standard version is a little bit unplayable now. It's this one all the way. Not too sure how good the light in here is. Do my best. Right, the next three loose carts are not games that I owned back in the day, so they can stay loose. Starting with Super Tennis. This has got quite a good reputation, maybe because it's quite dated. And I've not put a lot of time into it, but a bit overrated for me. Perhaps if I put some more hours into it, I might sort of see the strengths of the game shining through, but at the moment, not so much. This was from a wild pickup. This was from a retro game shop in Elephant and Castle. So yeah, no need to upgrade that. That's fine. Next loose cart is F-Zero. Again, didn't have this. Jumping ahead, I was a big fan of F-Zero X, and I played F-Zero X and hammered that before I ever played the original, so I find it quite hard to go back. But despite that, it's nice piece to have in the collection. I tend not to have games that I don't want to play, but there are exceptions, and because I've got F-Zero, I bought F-Zero GX on the GameCube, so to have F-Zero X and F-Zero GX and not the original probably wouldn't sit right with me. So yeah, got that one as well. And the final loose cart is Bomberman 64. And I've actually got, can't quite see it, I thought it'd be on the shelf. Somewhere on the shelf I've got the multi-tap for that. My missus is good at Bomberman, she's got older brothers, and she grew up playing this, and me and her completed this, I don't know, about a year ago, which was good. Right, we're on to the box now. So I'm just going to start with one box game, which I don't know why I bought it boxed, because I didn't have this as a kid. I haven't played it as a kid. I was kind of keeping an eye on loose carts, and then saw this one a bit cheaper actually than a lot of the loose carts. But it's ISS Deluxe. Now I'm on the hunt for a good arcadey football game. This is pretty good. I've noticed that the way to play this game is you get a shot in at goal, the keeper inevitably saves it, and the game's all about the rebounds off the keeper. Me and a mate sat and played this the other night on his SNES Mini, and we came to that conclusion after a couple of matches that it was all about getting shots in and following them up. So once we sort of worked it out, we found it quite an addictive game for a football game. This box is in a bit of a state. It's got stickers and security tabs and stuff. Not really minded to do anything about that, to be fair. There's a lot of residue up on the corner as well. Not too fussed. I'm not too fussed. I'm not sure why I've got this box, as I say, but here it is. I think perhaps I'll just leave this as an example of I mean, it's far from the worst box you've ever seen, but it is an example that sort of makes the rest of them look quite nice, I suppose. That's going to be my justification for keeping it. So yeah, I'm going to just plough through there's a few of these, just getting the sports titles out of the way first. Next one is PGA Tour Golf. So from this point on, these are all games I had in my original collection. Some of them, there's still some that I need. So yeah, PGA Tour Golf, this is in pretty nice condition. Could do with a Retro Dave strip light when you're showing off your Nintendo boxes. This is from this copy of PGA Tour Golf I got last year when the first lockdown eased, and this was from Sore Thumbs in York, which I see a lot of people talk about. Customary crash during my video. lost my train of thought. Yeah, sore thumbs. Went to York. End of lockdown last year. Yeah, last year. And had a little look around. It's so jam packed, that shop. You even need a couple of hours in there, and I personally wouldn't feel comfortable rooting around and there's stuff behind stuff and stuff underneath stuff. There's too much stuff in there. I think, and what I tend to do in shops like that is I have a quick look round. If there's an eye catching, if there's something that catches my eye, I'll grab it. So I got this because I needed it, because I had it as a kid, and it was, I can't remember, I think it was about £8, and in this condition I weren't going to leave it behind. But yeah, only spent, I don't know, 15 minutes in the shop. So I mean, if you've got time, then go, and if you're sort of nearby, then do go. Just be prepared to spend a little bit of time in there, and don't be too humble to root about, because you do need to kind of have a good route around in there, because they've got so much stuff in a relatively small shop that a lot of it, as I say, is buried under other stuff. Anyway, right, the next game is FIFA 96. So yeah, it's another football game. This is one I used to play quite a lot. Watched Sean's video last night, Pompey Game Room. He's just recently grabbed this, and he said this was I think he said it was his favourite FIFA of the 16-bit generation, and I certainly agree. So yeah, that's FIFA 96. Getting onto some good stuff now. Now, I don't class this as a sports title in particular. I just class this as a bit of a classic arcade game, and that is NBA Jam. This is one of my most played games, probably, of all time. I used to hammer this as a kid. It was never. Oh, I'm just seeing in the on the screen, everything looks a bit grainy, so I must apologise if the picture's not too good. But yeah, NBA Jam, just love it. I talked about this with Russ on his Desert Island Games, and I bang on about this game all the time. I went and played that with that mate that I was talking about, that we played ISS. That same evening around his house on his SNES Mini, we also had a go at this, and he'd never played it before. And we had a really good match. I beat him. We both scored, I don't know, 30 or 40 points, and I only beat him by, I don't know, four points perhaps. So, and it was his first time playing it, and I've spent a lifetime playing this. It's just end-to-end fun. Anyone can pick it up and play it, and that was evidence of that. And he loved it. It's just a great game. The arcade, if I could get my hands on an NBA Jam arcade, that would be definitely one of my sort of top 5 holy grails. Tournament edition, I've got loose for. Sorry, no, I haven't. I've got this loose for the Mega Drive. I prefer this version. I've got tournament edition as well on the PS1. Again, I prefer this edition, and it works with the multi-tap. Bear with, because I'm just gonna see if a bit of light helps. Yeah, so this isn't an expensive game. I know it's a sports title, but it's so much more than a sports title. It's just end-to-end, over-the-top fun. Anyone can pick it up and play it. Doesn't take long to master it, and then I don't know. You can just have some all-out wars with people. I was going to say you could have some all-out wars, but I thought, well, you're only playing basketball. But you know what I mean. You can. This is definitely a multiplayer classic for me. Right. Next is Super Mario Kart. Now this box is a bit bashed. It could probably do a bit of the Tooty treatment, But this is the only other surviving original box. Brother's got the game again, but this box lived up in my loft for, well, decades. And I only found this a few years ago, and I was pretty chuffed. So I've bought the game loose, but I've kept the original box. And it's Super Mario Kart. What more can you say? This is probably my favourite version of the game, just because this is the one I played over and over again as a kid. By the time we got onto Mario Kart 64, I didn't like the Grand Prix mode on that game because the rubber banding, but the battle mode was excellent. So for me, this and Mario Kart 64 for the multiplayer, for the battle mode and stuff, it's still the definitive Mario Kart for me. The modern ones, I don't really get on with them. So, but it's just a personal preference, I guess. So yeah, four more of the current collection to show. Now, this one is the best condition, definitely the best condition Super Nintendo game I own. And this was a gift from a tuber, and it was Pete's Nestastic. He sent me this when he was having a clear out, when he was sort of closing the door on his retro collecting, and he wouldn't take anything for it. He wouldn't let me PayPal him some money or anything. Yeah, definitely going to make it up to you, Pete, one way or another at some point. So the game is Starwing. Now this is an absolute minter, if ever I've seen one. And it's complete with a manual. The cart is absolutely pristine as well. Very minimal shelfware. The corners are all crisp. It's a really lovely copy of the game. And thank you very much once again, Pete. Just really chuffed to have this. And as I said to Pete, this is a game that I associate quite strongly with his channel. I've watched him talk about this game over the years. So to have this in my collection, and it'll never leave this room. Yeah, just chuffed to bits. What more can you say? Pete, absolutely fantastic lad, great YouTuber. Very, very generous gift. And Pete's, I only talk to a small handful of tubers, like on WhatsApp and that. Pete is one of the few. And yeah, just what can I say? Just I was so chuffed with that, and just very touched when he sent that my way. And as I say, he just wouldn't take anything for it. But Pete, I will pay you back one day. I will find a way to return the favour 100%. So yeah, 3 left, and we'll kick off with Mortal Kombat 2. Now this is in pretty rude condition itself, and it wants to be, because I paid about 50 quid for this. I think it was about 50 quid, 52 from Chill Out Games. That's again, sorry about the blur. Talked about these before. Their pricing is a little bit expensive. Their prices are the going rate and then a few quid on top, I would say. But they are someone I've bought a lot of stuff from, and I trust them. I trust their listings, and yeah, I just like buying from them. I don't even mind their little labels that they put on. So yeah, this is something I've been looking for this game for quite a while, and it was coming up. The prices were sort of fluctuating from 30 to 40 quid up to 70 or 80 quid, and the condition varied quite a lot. So there were some pretty battered ones up for big money, and just one of them titles that I just find that the price is just a little bit unstable, and it's up and down, and there's a lot of very tatty copies floating about, and people are asking a lot of money for them. So it's definitely one to bide your time on. This is definitely my favourite Mortal Kombat game, without a doubt. Without a doubt, makes me think. I think 16-bit, and especially on the Super Nintendo, it really was the golden age for fighting games for me, with Street Fighter 2, Killer Instinct, as we talked about, Mortal Kombat 2, and probably some others. I don't really play a lot of modern fighting games. I think it's one I've left in the past. But so if I'm going to play a fighting game, it's going to be an old school one, all the way. I don't think I've played a Mortal Kombat since that one. So yeah, it's just me. I don't play the modern ones. If I'm going to play a fighting game, I'm going to play an old one. Right, last two. So next one is Donkey Kong Country. This is another one, as I was saying. As I was saying about Mortal Kombat, price fluctuates quite a lot on this. So a lot of the buy it nows were a lot of money for, less than. I'm not going for minters. I'm just going for stuff that's in decent shape, not too creased, just decent. That's what I'm going for, decent. So there was a lot less than decent copies of this floating about, and they were asking stupid money for them. So this is a classic example of biding your time. This came up on an auction, and I won it for $36.50, including P&P. There's people that have obviously picked this up in better condition for £5 or £10, 15 years ago. But in 2021, for the condition it's in, I was well happy to win this for £36. It's got everything apart from the CD, and I've probably got the CD floating about somewhere still from the one that was passed down to me. Everything else is in there: the manual, the poster, the precautions leaflet, and there's something else as well, but can't quite remember what it is. But yeah, happy to have ticked this one off the list. This is a really good game, but it's not my favourite, and I have to be I really do have to be in the mood to play this. And I'm probably a bit odd because I'm not massively keen on the music in this game, and the music is something that everyone seems to remark on and say how good it is. But for me, although I think it's a good score, I feel like it'd be a good score for something else. If that makes any sense. I think like the underwater level. The music of the underwater level makes me want to slash my wrists. It's a bit I don't know. It's probably people shaking their head like, what the fuck are you on about? But speaking of good music in a game, the final game I've got is Super Mario World. I'm not gonna try and say anything original about this game, other than I completed it as a kid numerous times. It's by far my favourite Mario game. I think this is the best. I can fully understand people that would say Mario 3, but for me this is the best. This is platforming at its best. This has got to be one of the best games ever made, without a doubt. It's just a brilliant game, and the music's great, and I'm trying to say something profound, and I really don't need to, do I? Because everyone knows about Super Mario World. So this copy I got with some birthday money. It's got a bit of sun fade there. It's got quite a bit of edge wear, but I'm well happy with it. This is definitely one that sort of crept right up in price, the yellow box variant. But what I'm looking for when I buy this. When I buy a Super Nintendo or an N64 game, I just want the general shape to still be I want it to still have its shape and sort of minimal sort of crushing or creases. I can take a little bit of fade, and the seller was fully honest with me, and I could see it in the pictures and stuff. But yeah, I'm just well happy with this, and to me it's the definitely one of the definitive Super Nintendo games. And this is another one I've played with the missus. Again, she grew up with older brothers, so she's grown up playing these games, and she's better than me at this, without a doubt. And we completed it last year, I think. We did a run through, sort of playing it on and off, and then we eventually completed it on her SNES Mini, and yeah, it was good, well good. So that is it. That is it, everyone. Find it quite difficult to do videos at the rate I do and feel like I'm not sort of bumbling my way through them. But that's just the way it is. I just want everything that I've collected so far, do collection videos, and then I'll do some pickups as and when. I'm saving up for other things, so the pickups are trickling in. Try not to buy anything at the moment, but eventually I'll start doing the odd pickup video. But for now, I'm just going to keep cracking on with these collection videos and sort of document what I've got. And it's something for me to look back on in the future. And hopefully, yeah, if a few people enjoy them, then that's a bonus as well. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there. What's next? Probably, I might do N64 next. But that is going to be a long one, because with N64 I've got a lot of stories and stuff to tell, and I can just see that being a very long video. So perhaps a two-parter, we'll see. But yeah, that'll probably be next. So just to say thank you for watching, hope everyone's well, and see you again in the next one. Cheers.